She's Danny.
He's Josh.
And you've just tuned into The Conversation.
We have a great show planned this month.
That's right. Now, Danny, whether you're 5 or 80, if you live in Memphis, you know this voice. It's Big Sue this month on The Conversation. And in fact, she worked here at WUMR, where we are today.
Really?
Yes, she did. At K97 right now is our entertainment correspondent, Akilah Speaks. Akilah, take it away.
Today with me, I have the beautiful Miss Big Sue on your hottest radio station in Memphis, K97. Big Sue,
yes, ma'am.
You're on from AM to midday. You're in 27 markets. You also do club appearances.
I try to stay busy.
I mean, how do you do it all?
You know what, I think I'm really good with time management. You kind of have to be. Like my mornings, my alarm goes off in the morning literally about 3:45. So, you know, it's get to work, get through the morning show, and then get to midday. So yeah, I'm on air here in Memphis from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. There's also like a lot of, you know, off the mic prep time that goes into that. Like the night before, you know, I'm also the morning show producer. So, you know, I'll kind of get some topics, whatever we're going to talk about the day before, and kind of send it out so that everything is ready to go by the time we get here at 6 and start the show.
Being prepared. But, so what sparked your interest in radio?
Honestly, I want to say it was my love for music. Genuinely. And, you know, I spent a lot of times, you know, in the club while I was in college, University of Memphis. And so, you know, it got to a point where I started emceeing. I was being handed the microphone. So I remember there was one night in particular, there was the hiring PD for the radio station I was trying to, you know, get a job with. And they're like, talk so he can hear you and, you know, see how you sound and everything. And I remember cutting air check after air check. You know, that's the tape that you put together, you know, for the PD so they can see how you would sound, you know, on their station. And I had put together like probably 3. And month after month, I'm constantly coming back, you know, with something. And then after seeing me in the club and hearing my last air check, you know, that was it for me.
Yes, because your voice is amazing. It's like anywhere you go, if you speak, we know. I get questioned a lot.
Oh, yeah?
Who is Big Sue?
Yeah.
Who is Big Sue? It's like, we know that voice, but who is Big Sue? So guess what? You all are getting to meet Big Sue today. Having Big Sue. Also, what led you here to K97?
Wow, that's a really long story, but the short end, I was with another station for about 5 years. I actually started in Omaha, Nebraska, like their first urban formatted radio station. And so when I had a break for between semesters, I would go home and do radio. And then I came back to Memphis and actually started with WUMR, the jazz station. And it's really kind of funny because at the time I didn't know anything about jazz. I'm just like, okay, I'm supposed to play this at this time. So I really got a really good appreciation for the music, right? And then I started with the other station. I was there for about 5 months. And I also did radio in Louisiana, and I think that was like my first real task of handling multiple stations, because I did middays on a station called KRRQ Q95.5 in Lafayette, and at the same time I was doing middays at Max 94.1 as well.
Okay.
So that kind of prepared me, and then it was time for me to come back to Memphis and landed here at K97, which is one of the stations I've always wanted to work with. I mean, it's a heritage station. People around the country know the station, so I take a lot of pride in finally being here. So
yeah.
5 years later, you know, I'm the assistant program director, the morning show co-host and producer, and the midday talent, and I DJ. So
yes,
it's a story.
So what advice do you have for those who want to go into radio?
Radio has changed so much, to be honest with you. I think the most important thing that you can take with you is a very broad skill set. I mean, it's more than just, you know, keeping up with the music and keeping up with the artists and current events and what's going on in the community. I mean, there's also a lot of other elements. Social networking has played such a major part with our promotions just in the past, I want to say 3 years.
Right.
So you kind of have to be social networking savvy as far as doing video. There's a lot of different components that go into what we do on a daily basis and what we're bringing to the listener. So having that skill set and being able to do a lot of different things very well is probably the most important thing.
Okay. There's also a lot of artists across the city, also nationwide. They inquire about how they can get onto radio, how they can start off their careers, launch their promotions and everything like that. So as far as with the radio industry. I know there's a lot of pros and cons to it, and the differences between commercial stations and non-commercial stations.
Right.
So what would be your advice for artists that are trying to, rap, sing, get their career launched? What would be your advice for them coming into the industry?
Okay. And again, this is another philosophy that's changed a lot over the years, but for somebody who is rapping or singing or producing or whatever they're doing right now, is really establishing what we call their buzz. You know, if you've got a fan base and you've got demand for your product, we have no choice. And we're always, out in the community, we're out. So we know who's, creating that buzz, who's making that noise. We'll find you.
Right.
So I think the most important thing, unsigned or independent artists need to know is they've got to keep working. That doesn't mean, sitting behind the computer and sending links to everybody all day.
Right.
You've got to get some FaceTime in. You've got to get these shows in, and you've got to continue focusing on building your brand and building your fan base.
Yeah.
Radio is definitely a part of it, but it's not like it was 5 or even 10 years ago, where it's like, okay, if I get my song on the radio, then the fan base will grow.
Right.
That's not it.
Yeah, because everyone's looking for that big deal, that record deal. They're like,
Right.
hey, do you get a lot of people that come up to you?
Yes.
Hey, put my song on the radio,
Yeah, and because I DJ in the clubs and I'm also the assistant program director, of course, we get that when we're out. And, there's a protocol for all of it. We take emails. We don't have a set music day. The program director, Devin Steele, and I, we literally talk about new music every single day. Because, at the end of the day, our job is to bring the best to our listeners. We're competing for their time.
Right.
In an age where everybody's got their iPods or they're online or whatever, where we're right there on iHeartRadio. You can download K97 and take us with you. So it's all about, keeping them engaged.
Right.
So we have to be... We have to be very choosy in the content.
Well, also with that being said, taking it to our last question to wrap up the conversation. What do you feel sets you apart from other female DJs?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure that there is another on-air personality that probably handles as many tasks on a daily that I do. I'm look, and that's no hate, because there are a lot of hardworking women in the industry. I haven't found my counterpart.
Okay.
Because of all the things that I do with the DJing and the other markets, and also being a programmer as well. It's a lot of hats to wear. I enjoy every one of them.
Right.
But I think that's one of the things that probably sets me apart is my work ethic. Like, I don't stop. Just because I leave this building, I'm still on, because it's a career.
Right.
It is, a big part of my life.
It's
so I would probably say, I'd probably say that's probably what sets me apart the most.
So would you consider yourself like the Wonder Woman of radio?
Oh my gosh, I'll let you say that, but
we're gonna call Big Sue the Wonder Woman of radio, because you have the diva,
I would say that I'm definitely one of the hardest working.
Big Sue, everybody, give a round of applause.
Thank you, Akilah.
Thanks so much, Akilah. That was a great interview. Big thanks to Big Sue. I love Big Sue. Don't you love Big Sue?
I love Big Sue. She keeps me jamming with the 30-minute throwbacks every Friday.
Yes, and I love it. Who's your favorite artist on the throwback? 30-minute throwback.
You know what? I love it when she plays the old Destiny's Child. I love it.
My Virgo sis, Beyonce.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Anyway,
of course you claim her.
Of course. Anyway, big thanks to Big Sue. And for the conversation, I'm Joshua Bolden.
And I'm Danielle Wilbur.
For past episodes, conversation extras, and exclusive sneak peeks, visit theconversation.weebly.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at NADJ Combo and like us on Facebook, keyword The Conversation.